how would you like to make your first million? And today we have Steven with us, which is the founder of Trio SEO. So Steven, tell us, what are the 5 steps that you recommend companies in order to make the first million?
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
I think the first step is to really understand your customer. I think that that's always going to be key to success. And if you don't, I think that having interviews and spending time talking to them one-on-one and getting that human connection is always going to be massively important. There's so many upsides and so many benefits that come from that. It's amazing what you can do and what you can achieve from there.
And then what would be the next step?
Once you have that understanding, I would say the next thing would be to ensure that your product aligns with their feedback. So I think that there's a very big urgency to get to market and try and make money, but the better the product is and how that product aligns to solving the pain point, that's going to be so successful down the road. And so taking that little time can really go a long way.
Step number 3.
Step number 3 would be to develop a strategy that aligns with your competitors as far as the marketing, pricing, positioning, packaging, etc. I think that really digging into the core fundamentals of a marketing strategy can allow people to really think slow and go through a process before rushing through things. I think that when founders rush, I think that it can really impact the strategy negatively.
Next one, 4 and 5.
So marketing and sales are going to be kind of the 2 bigger Achilles heel, I would say, to any successful strategy. Going to strategy and making sure that you have a short-term and a long-term visibility strategy. So maybe it's going to be PPC mixed with SEO or social media. It really kind of depends on where your customers are living and how they're engaging with content and how you can align their needs and their interests and their values to the product and service that you're offering.
Marketing and sales is most important than the product itself. We find, Steven, that first-time founders, they are in love with the product. They create the product that's gonna solve this big problem for the world, and they fall in love in that product so much. They put a lot of money, time, and energy trying to make a great product, okay, hoping that the product's going to be so good that people will come and buy it out of the sky. Whether second time founder, they understand a little bit more the process, how business works, and you always find second time founders more passionate about sales and marketing, thinking more, okay, what is the target audience? How can I offer this product to this audience? How much they're willing to pay? How large is the market? How am I gonna sell it? And after they figure out all that, right? As a second step is when they start to develop the product, because they already have all the information, what the market wants, how much they're willing to pay. So what message do you have for first-time founders out there that doesn't take marketing and sales seriously, and say, well, this is not for me, and they don't know any better, and they still in love with the product, putting money, time, and energy, and everything they got in debt, and leaving marketing and sales for neglecting.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have sales and marketing, you don't have a company, you don't have a business. You can have the best product in the world, and if nobody can see it and buy it, then you're not making money. So I think at the end of the day, you kind of have to really invest in your sales training and your marketing strategy and know that it's an ongoing, continuous process.
So what can you tell them to the first-time founders? First-time founders listening, you see our audience are entrepreneur, people that want to be entrepreneur, they're from corporate and they want to do the transition to start the business. Of first-time founders, we have a lot of them listening, and a lot of second-time founders and owners of small business and large companies.
Mhm.
So what's your message? What's your message for these first time founders that they don't know any better and they are still thinking, you know what, don't worry about it. If my product is really good, it will say by itself, my business is different.
Yeah, I would say that they probably don't know their customer well enough. It kind of goes back to my main point that you have to know your customer at the end of the day. And so you should be having networking coffee calls with them with no interest in selling them, just purely for conversational sake and trying. The only thing you should be trying to acquire at that time is information. Don't even try and sell them, don't make a dollar. And just really trying to understand, who are they? What are they doing? Where are they hanging out in their free time? What are they thinking about? What scares them? What keeps them up at night? What are the things that really can make an impact in their life? And then how do you fit the product to that? The core thing is like, what kind of media do they consume? Is it social media? Is it newsletters? Is it strictly just ads? Is it Reddit versus LinkedIn? Like there's so many kind of nooks to explore there. And it all starts with understanding your customer and having those conversations.
SEO is this one of the most important elements in order for you to be appear first in the search engines. Like yesterday, I was speaking with my cousin, and they have like a refurbishment business. He were talking to me. I said, "Wow, guys, how you find the customers?" And they were telling, "Well, you know what? When they type it, we are the first in Google." And this is how we are finding the customer. And by the way, we have more business, that we can actually handle it. So, but still, Steven, with the SEO, uh, it seems that you never have a control. Um, those big companies like Google, they change the algorithm again and again and again. And something that works today, maybe tomorrow doesn't work. And people say, well, I prefer pay advertising because at least I'm paying and I know that I'm spending 4, and I'm selling for 10, so I'm making 6, and my overhead is 2, so I keep it for profit. So what are the good, the bad, and the ugly of SEO versus pay advertising?
Yeah, so I mean, at the end of the day, I think it shouldn't be an either or situation. I think it should be an
Well,
and.
SEO
I
you
think
also have to pay because you have to pay the consultant and the company that do the SEO.
right.
So let's put that in perspective. Yeah,
Yeah,
everybody
for sure.
pays. Yeah, let's start
Yeah,
from
yeah.
that.
But I mean,
Everybody pays.
talking about
So what are what we're gonna call it, organic
mhm.
pay versus advertising pay? That would be more fair, Steven, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, it really comes down to a short-term versus long-term strategy. I think the PPC and paid ads is a great way to capture quick wins in a strategy and make sure that you have a cash flow business. Like that's critical to life and sustaining a business. I think that investing in SEO long term is a very, very good way to lower your customer acquisition cost and kind of set yourself up for success. Obviously, it does take a long time to come to life. You're looking at a 6 to 12 month roadmap, depending on the maturity of your website and also looking at your competitors in the space. But for the same reason that we all invest in a retirement account, it's just the right thing to do. You don't hear anybody saying, "Oh, I'm not going to invest in a 401k or a Roth or any sort of market based asset because I would rather have that money now." It's like, well, no, obviously you're thinking long term and you know what's good for your company and you know what's good for yourself. And I think that you'd rather own the real estate in those search engines than constantly be, on the hamster wheel of paid ads. Because when you stop paying for advertisements and PPC, like your leads stop.
That's it.
Whereas, yeah, with
If you
SEO,
don't
like
pay
you can
them,
invest in it and you're good.
the magic finish. Yeah, yeah. I think that
Yeah.
Steven, I agree with you. The long-term strategy, when you customers um, need companies need gain market share, they need more like a long-term strategy, parallel with the pay advertising, because this is especially when you want to gain market share. So do you think that the companies 0 to 1 going through the journey from 0 to 1 million, maybe the SEO strategy is not that strong that after they are embracing from 1 million to 10 million, which is because from 0 to 1 you depend for the client, right? You depend. If you don't have a client, you don't have a business. Exactly like you say, you stop paying, you don't have a business. But once you sell your first million, the things start to turn a little bit. You actually don't depend on the client. You already know how to get the client. So your product is selling, it's product market fit, you already sold 1 million. So now it comes the second part of the question, which is gaining market share, lower your customer cost of the acquisition. And I think that SEO, obviously the company will have more budget to invest. So what are the strategies that you recommend in terms of SEO from companies that are going from 0 to 1 million and from companies that are doing from 1 million to 10 million?
Yeah, the strategies are the same. In all honesty, I don't think that it's just more about how aggressive you can be with your strategy. And so if you're going from that 0 to 1 million mark, definitely do not delay it just because you're like, oh, this is not a good thing for me to put my money and time energy into. I think that because it takes so long, you're going to look back thinking and hoping that you wish you would have started sooner. And so even just a little bit of consistency will continue to compound and pay off in the long run. And so in terms of actionable strategies, I would say that you can continue to build up your website authority. That's always going to help you. So, going on podcasts and then having the guest or the host link to you in the show notes, or working with allies in your space and doing guest posting on their website and getting a link from their website to yours. All of those backlinks that you can acquire from other websites that connect to your site is going to dramatically help increase your visibility long term. And so when you do decide to become a little bit more aggressive in the SEO space, it's that much easier. But if you are constantly delaying that and putting it off, starting from square one is infinitely harder in SEO.
And the 360 approach in terms of SEO, because Steven, people think that SEO is only for Google, but it doesn't end there, right? You have SEO for Google, you have SEO for YouTube as well. Tell me about it. Our team, with our YouTube channel, they are always looking to this. It's my understanding that if you do LinkedIn articles, that also is SEO friendly. I don't know. Yeah, I need to double check that, but I hear something about it. Whether if you do a normal post in LinkedIn, it's not SEO friendly, but if you do an article in LinkedIn, becomes SEO friendly. And then you have SEO on YouTube, then you have SEO in Google, but then you have SEO, I don't know, in Yahoo, in other search engines, and sometimes it's more cost effective to be the first in Yahoo or in Bing. That in Yahoo, that not so many people are competing that in Google. So tell us how many platforms we can use SEO strategy, and what are the advantages, because I think that the cost for advertising in some of the platforms are more affordable than the other ones. And I don't know, even Amazon, some people placing products in Amazon. Did Amazon also need SEO? Tell us about all the platforms that need SEO there, and what are the pros and cons.
Yeah, so it really depends on what your product or service is. Like if you're an e-commerce company, like you should have very, very optimized e-commerce SEO on your website. So if you're using Shopify or WooCommerce, any of those other platforms within your CMS, then it really comes down to the technical SEO component. If you're a B2B SEO or a B2B service-based company, you want to make sure you have content on your site so that your clients and customers can figure out who you are and what you do. There isn't a one way to optimize for Google or Yahoo or Bing per se. What you should do is just do the fundamentals in SEO, and that will carry over into other places. Yes, you can do things like YouTube and Amazon SEO. Again, that really only matters if you are selling on those platforms or your audience lives there. But the other big thing that we're really starting to see nowadays is just the evolution of people starting to acquire customers through ChatGPT and other LLM platforms. And so all of that starts with very, very strong SEO fundamentals. So if you want to get customers from ChatGPT and you don't have SEO in mind, like it won't work. Like it all starts with SEO.
Even the one how you end up specializing in SEO? That was always your first business, or you are on the because out in this broadcast we have out of the 500 millionaires that we interview, there is a large proportion of it that they own sales and marketing company, and they had shared here previously that sales and marketing company was not the first company. They have another company, they exit, they sell it, and they realize that, wow, the reason that my company did very well, I mean, the product was good, but I was very good in sales and marketing. And next time that they go in business, they open a sales and marketing company. That was your case, or did you have any business before that you exit, and or you from the beginning are passionate about SEO, and what this passion about came from? How you decided to become an entrepreneur? You look very young to me.
Yeah, I got started in college way back when a friend of mine introduced me into SEO, and he was already very successful in that space and was making very good money in college and was kind of just using college as like a safety net fallback to kind of get his degree and just in case, but had no intentions of going into that career path. And so he showed me how to build websites and how to optimize for SEO. And he and I went into business and we started and scaled our first company with another partner of ours. And we grew that into a portfolio of about 40 different websites. We were publishing
Wow,
about 300 to 400 articles on a monthly basis. And at our
wow,
peak, we scaled that to 1.4 mil ARR. So that was kind of my
wow, very
quick
impressive.
rush into SEO.
And then, Steven, you still open one more company? Tell us a
Yeah,
bit
so I
more
left
about your
that.
journey.
Yeah, so I left that company because a lot of things changed. It actually ended up burning to the ground very quickly, just through a lot of black swan events. COVID was one of them. Amazon had cut the commission affiliate rates in half overnight, which was a large percentage of our revenue. And then a couple Google algorithm updates really crushed our industry that we were in. So I took a step back and kind of de-risked and figured out what was next. And then I met my partners now at TrioSEO via LinkedIn, just through networking and small talk. And we found out that there was a lot of good synergies between us, and they had just come off of an exit of their own. And so, yeah, we started the agency, and they have SEO experience like I do. And so it was a very good fit that we can kind of hit the ground running from help clients do the same thing.
Steven, the yeah, finding the right partner in business sometimes is can be challenging, but at the end of the day, if you look like a merge, if you merge with someone else that have skills as well and they have experience, sometimes it's productive, and you guys can move forward faster. So the services you specialize are in Amazon, Google. Tell us about how can you help people with, and how this process work if people want to know more about you guys.
Yeah, so we specialize in B2B service-based companies and SaaS-based companies and help them get more visibility in places like Google, Bing, ChatGPT, Perplexity, all of these kind of places where you would want your ideal customers to
Can you get
organically find your
visibility in
company.
ChatGPT? I didn't know that one. Can you get
Yep.
visibility in ChatGPT? Oh, that's interesting. So
Yeah. So
if people search, oh, tell me good company to do that. If you do right SEO, that's interesting. I didn't see this coming. Very good.
yep.
Steven, and then the how people can find you guys, how this process work.
Yeah, so you can go to trioseo.com/audit if you'd like to work with our team, and we'll do a free complimentary audit to see if working together makes sense. You can also find me on LinkedIn. I'm very active there and post daily content. So one way or another, you can connect
Daily
with me, and I'd
content
love
you
to
post.
speak.
Wow, you guys,
Yep.
you're amazing. Um, Steven, so do you never work for anybody? You never been an employee since you finished college. What do you study? Do you study business? Do you study what's your background? And tell us about your employee life versus your entrepreneurial life. Do you ever work for anybody? Did anybody pay your salary? And
Yeah,
or you just jump from university straight to business?
yeah, so I studied finance and entrepreneurship in college, and I went straight from graduation into my first company. So never worked for anybody outside of that. And then after my first company,
Wow, I'm rooting for you. That's amazing. Very, very impressive. I wish. Okay,
thanks.
so what have you telling to your
Yeah,
fellow
after
university degrees students that they are studying very hard and they have so much potential like you. Yet the dream is to find a good job to depend on the life of somebody else. What can you tell them? I'm not saying that go to business is all
yeah, it really just depends on your personality, and it depends on what you want to do in life. I mean, some people really prefer the less risky route, quote unquote, of going into corporate, but I'd argue that that's almost more risky to some degree because of so many layoffs and everything that's going on. I also would suggest that you really kind of think about how you're using your college time. Like I looked at college as almost like this time of my life where I could fail without any repercussions when it came to learning business, and I could do whatever I wanted to in terms of like, I had this like 4 year gap where I could build whatever I wanted to, I could do whatever I wanted to, and I had this almost like get out of jail free card. And so I think that if you can look at your time in college as almost like this window of time where you have anything possible, then it really just depends on how you dedicate that time. And the more you can stay consistent within that 4 year time span on something, the better it's going to work out. But you don't want to get to the end of the path and then start. That's kind of how I look at it.
Then when you are starting a business, you always have the same. Everyone is starting a business have the same issue. Nobody knows you, so how you can find the first clients? They want to pay you very little because nobody knows you, and at the same, and they ask you for discount. So, what are the secrets of finding your first clients, and how you developing the strategy to keep acquiring more clients? Because the first clients are the most difficult, right?
Yeah, I always tell people that you should never get a client unless you have a portfolio of work to go to them with. So, like when I was in college, I was building websites left and right and using that as kind of my playground to figure out what worked and what didn't work. And I was using those as my freedom to fail almost in a way. Like it's so much easier to mess up your own site than to go mess up a client's site. And so I think that you have to be able to create these little side projects along the way when you can, so that you can go to a client and say, oh, I've done this a dozen different times. It's kind of like when nowadays, a client comes to us and I have to just tell them like, hey, trust me, I've written 10,000 articles and you're just another one in that next line. So like, believe me, like I kind of know what I'm doing in this sense. And I think that adds a lot of power.
Yeah. And regarding the the biggest strategy out there, how long is the period, Steven, that the minimum period that a company should be working on in SEO? You're talking about 6 months, 8 months, up to a year in order to find some results. But those results weren't because it's especially the first page of Google or the first page of um, of the biggest search engine is really difficult to be on the first page. So how you guys can make this work?
Yeah, I'd say it's difficult if you don't know what you're doing. I mean, obviously anything is. I think that's kind of the luxury of working with people who have been doing this for 10, 15 years and kind of have the playbook ironed out. it really does depend on your strategy. But, I think that there's always going to be some ways that you can find quick wins in a 3 to 6 month period. But, a lot of that upside comes 6 to 12 months down the road. The other thing I would always recommend that people consider is just the design of their website and how it's designed to promote conversion. I think that a lot of websites overlooked the functionality of how users are engaging with their website. Like, how does a contact box look? Do you have lead magnets? What are the nurture sequences? What are the funnels? Like, people just expect people to book a demo or hit them up via the contact form. And it's like, that's never going to work. And so you kind of have to continue modifying your website until it really works and speaks to the ideal customer.
So when things doesn't work, they are always challenged when, especially working with partners. So what are the because when you got into partnership in business, the business is something that you have to put a lot of into it, and sometimes at the beginning you have to work Monday to Sunday non stop, and sometimes conflicts can appear because the other part is thinking that that is unfair, and that both parts are thinking at the same time that one had been unfair with the other one, and then the conflict start there, and especially when you have a company and employees, it can be challenging. So what are the secrets to find a right partner in business, and what and if things go wrong, what is the most effective way to deal with the situation when things when you guys disagree, for example?
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, it really comes down to communication and having a shared vision toward one goal. So, if you feel like you're overworking at the, compared to your partner, I would just talk to them and say, like, hey, I feel like I'm really busting my ass over here, and I don't think that you are. Like, is that maybe I'm misreading something? Like, are you working on stuff behind the scenes? Usually it just comes down to how you're communicating. Like, maybe you need to set goals every week and then check in on people. Like, maybe you just need to have more personal talks with them and say, like, hey, how are you moving things across the finish line for us? Or what are you working on while I'm doing this? And so I think that, like, just like any other relationship in life, I think that any business partnership is somewhat of a marriage. And so, like with your partner in marriage, you need to communicate and be open and honest and share how you're feeling and ask them how they're feeling. And it's a two-way street. Same thing as in business.
If I give you $100 and you're a starting up founder now, the $100 is just a metaphor, so an exercise to our listeners can understand how to distribute the funds. If I give you $100 today, Steven, and you have an startup, how much of this money you will invest in SEO, and how much of this money you will invest in pay ads, and why?
I think it depends on where your business is. Like, if your business is starting from scratch and you have nothing, then I would say put it in paid ads. I would say that if your business is 5 years along,
Hold on,
and
all the whole $100. If someone is starting from scratch, the whole $100 they should be putting in pay ads.
yes.
Okay, very good. Okay, and this is in case someone is starting out. Okay, and then if then what happens? If someone is not starting out, someone already have some traction. This traction, how much sales are we talking about, Steven?
Yeah, I mean, $100 you can't do anything with SEO. So if you're hoping to do anything with
just
SEO,
a metaphor. It's just a metaphor. It could be $100.
Yeah,
It's just a
course.
metaphor. The budget is could be people can be starting out with 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. It's just a metaphor of distribution of funds. So it's easy for our audience to understand.
Yeah, I mean, it really comes down to where you are in your timeline of your company. Like, if you're 5, 10 years in and you have other marketing channels that are alive and kicking, then invest in SEO. If you have zero marketing funnels or marketing strategies in place to get customers, don't use SEO. We actually turn down people who come to us and want SEO to be their first strategy and first channel because it's not the best, most sustainable path for them. And they have false expectations around what the outcome will be.
So basically, they are for companies that, Steven, they already basically when you don't depend on the client? Can we call it like this? Or when you're not highly dependent on the client? When companies that already are selling the product, but they want more market share, these are the companies that will be better fit, correct?
Correct.
Can you explain why?
Yeah, because I think the SEO takes so long to work that if you don't have cash flow coming in and you don't have sales coming in, it's going to really mess up your business. And so you need to have a short-term and a long-term strategy at the same time. And SEO is not a quick win strategy. So you kind of have to have the short-term already mastered before you can work on the long-term.
So in terms of search engines, which one of the search engines that more people are searching? And I'm asking you this because now ChatGPT is new in town, and it was my understanding that the first one of the first search engine was Google, and also YouTube, which is part of Google. It was also a second search engine. We can call Amazon another big search engine. So tell us about all the search engines out there and which one are more popular than other ones. So like this, I can even understand it, and we all can learn a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, Google's the biggest one. I mean, it still gets what, 4 billion searches per day. I mean, that's kind of hard to compete with. I think that ChatGPT is the new shiny toy that everyone's
Wow,
starting to realize. But
really?
it's still, I mean, it's a new form. It's completely
So
new. And
big.
so I think that
So after Google and YouTube, do you think that the third one is ChatGPT more than?
I don't think YouTube, I mean, YouTube is just a different strategy altogether because you have to have video content to succeed. So like your brand isn't going to appear if you don't have video content, whereas your website can appear regardless. So
I
um,
understand. Yeah.
yeah, so I mean, at least from like a ChatGPT perspective, I think it's just such a new arena, and it really, I think that it cuts out a lot of the noise that people are annoyed with on Google. Like Google is just kind of like it really distorts and
A
ruins the
lot of
user
people are
experience, in my
searching
opinion.
stuff in. A lot of people are searching stuff in ChatGPT,
Yeah, and so I think that over
including
time it's
me.
just going to grow. Yeah, exactly.
So everyone is searching. Okay. So then Google first, ChatGPT second. Which one would be the third?
Um, I don't know. I think that Bing is
Amazon,
still really relevant. I mean, Amazon
Amazon,
too, but that's more product
Yahoo,
based, so it depends on the
Yahoo.
business.
Yeah,
Like
Amazon is
Amazon doesn't
product
matter if you don't.
based. Yes.
Yeah, so if you're not selling product, then it doesn't really matter. I think it really just depends. Like,
How
I
about
think that
Yahoo and
your
Bing? There are people looking.
Bing is more prevalent than Yahoo, but again, like general SEO will carry over. You can't just optimize for one or the other. It's like you do this thing and then it helps everywhere.
Oh, that's important question, Steven. How can we optimize for? Because at the end of the day, we want our website or our content to be seen everywhere. How can we optimize for the same website or the same website, same company at the same time for Yahoo, for Bing, and for Google and for ChatGPT? Is that possible, or you have to choose, or maybe you need four different websites? One website that will optimize for Bing, another one for Yahoo, another one for ChatGPT. Can everything can be done in one, or how this is work?
Yeah, it's a one to many relationship. So you do one strategy and it trickles over into every place.
Okay, one strategy 360. So you will have only one website, but that website have the 360 strategy that will appear in every place. That's fantastic. So,
Yeah.
Steven, thank you so much. I think you're brilliant. You're so clever, and I have a message for our audience that they can. You're a great role model. I'm rooting for you, especially with what you did. Quite impressive. You left university and go to business. Do you know that I get invited to speak abroad, all over the world, and in the universities in Latin America. When I had to speak, the dean always tell us, which is in the fifth year, the students that had to speak, they always ask me to talk about entrepreneurship, because the dean is telling me, Harry, talk to them about how to start a business, how to grow a business, and what is possible, because they know that 50% of the graduates, as soon as they graduate, they're not going to have a job. So that's why I'm being asked to do this conference in the university. So the students that cannot find a job can create their own job.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something impressive that you have done. Finishing university, you went out and you created your own job. And I think that that is that is amazing, because not only you creating your own job, you creating your own job and you creating job for other people, and also and society and the economy move. It's us entrepreneurs who move the economy. Nothing happens until the sales is made. And I agree with you. The corporate is kind of a false safety net. They make you very comfortable when they need you. They pay you a lot of money and they give you a lot of. You see, you can buy everything you want, and they make you very comfortable when they need you. But one day, if they don't need you, they get rid of you very easy. And now you don't have skills to create your own job, because, as you know, take times
Yeah.
and experience to become an entrepreneur. So, Steven, once again, thank you so much for the broadcast, and for all of you following this Unstoppable podcast. See you in our next episode. How brave entrepreneur like Steven break that wall and achieve the first million. Bye for now.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.